Hey there tech fans, Rick here again from the OREI team with an overview of the OREI ToVi X4 transmitter module. This product is part of the new ToVi system from OREI, which allows you to create a flexible and expandable AV over IP solution for distributing your media content to multiple remote locations at the same time over a single network. This product fully supports 4K media content and is both HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, which means it's plug and play compatible with a wide range of modern media equipment. The unit also provides extension distances of up to 100 meters between the primary and secondary locations over a single LAN connection, and provides audio extraction capabilities where it can digitally separate the audio from the media content that you're distributing and allows you to pass that along through an analog or digital connection to a soundbar, home stereo, or amplifier system for that full theater experience. This product also supports full KVM functionality, which allows you to connect the keyboard and mouse up at the remote location so you can remotely control a computer at the primary location. It even provides local loopback functionality at the primary location, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content here while you're simultaneously sharing it with your remote locations. The kit even includes a set of infrared blasters that provide complete remote control from that secondary location. And finally, the solution employs the very latest in power over Ethernet technology, which means if you're using a PoE compatible switch, you won't need to plug in a power supply at each of the locations, which greatly simplifies your wiring. Now, as part of this overview, I'd like to start with a quick unboxing first, just to show you everything that's included with the kit. And then I'll take a closer look at the unit, and I'll explain the connections and indicators so you understand exactly how to use it. I'll list the features and functions that this product provides, and then I'll come back and do a short demonstration to show you how this product works as part of a larger ToVi system. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, you'll find the transmitter module. You'll find a single 12-volt, 2.5 amp power supply. You can simply plug this into a wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs directly into the DC input port on the rear with a locking collar that you can finger tighten so it doesn't pop out. And this will provide all the power you'll need for operation. But again, this solution uses PoE technology, which means if you plug it into a PoE capable switch, you won't need to use the power supply. You'll also find a set of infrared blasters in the kit, which again provide remote control from that secondary location. There's a series of connectors you can use to make connections to the rear of the unit if you're using the analog connections. There's also a bracketing kit included that allows you to mount this module up off the ground and out of the way. And finally, a full instruction manual is also included that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and a lot of other really good information about the solution that you'll need to understand in order to use it correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at the unit, I'll list the features and functions, and then I'll come back and do that demonstration. The product features a full metal enclosure which makes it incredibly durable and really helps to minimize outside interference from causing any issues with the sensitive electronics inside. On the top of the cabinet, as well as along both sides, and even on the bottom, you'll find ventilation slots that are really designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape to keep the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. You'll find mounting holes on both sides that can be used with the included bracketing kit to mount this module up off the ground and out of the way. On the bottom are 4 rubber feet that will help to protect the surface you set this down on and keep it from sliding around during operation. On the front of the unit, starting on the left, is a reset button. You can use a paper clip and gently push that button to reset the module if needed. To the right of that is a power indicator. When you apply power to the module, it immediately starts an internal power on self-test where it checks the electronics, and once it passes that test, it'll light the power LED, letting you know the module's ready to use. To the right of that is a link indicator. When you connect this module to the network, it starts searching for a companion receiver that's operating on the same channel, and when it finds that receiver, it'll light the link light, letting you know you have a solid connection to a receiver. To the right of that is a 3-digit display that indicates which channel the transmitter is operating on, and you can change that using the control hub or by tapping these 2 buttons to make that adjustment. To the right of that are 3 USB connections. This product provides KVM functionality, which allows you to connect the keyboard and mouse up at the remote location to remotely control the computer at the primary location. And this port right here is used to connect the transmitter to a computer. These 2 USB-A ports are both USB 2.0. These can be used for connecting external peripherals like a microphone or a camera to the connected computer. On the rear of the units where you'll make all your connections, Starting on the left is the DC power port, and that's used with the included power supply. You can simply plug that power supply into a wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs in right there, and you can tighten the collar to make sure it doesn't pop out. Now, one advantage this product provides is the power over Ethernet functionality, which essentially means if you're using a PoE switch and you make a LAN connection to that switch, you won't have to worry about using that power supply because all the power required for the module is sent over that LAN connection. So to the right of that is the LAN connection you'll use to connect to your switch. To the right of that is a fiber channel port. You can use an SFP and actually connect this directly to a receiver module without using the network. To the right of that are two full-sized HDMI ports. The first one is labeled input. This connects to the media device you'd like to share the content from with your remote location. And there's also an output HDMI port here. This product provides local loopback functionality, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content at this location while you're simultaneously sharing it with your remote location. And if you'd like to take advantage of that feature, you can connect a local monitor to this port to enjoy that content. This product also provides audio extraction capabilities where it can digitally separate the audio signal from the media that you're displaying, then allows you to pass that along to a soundbar or home stereo through either an optical SPDIF or an analog left and right output. And that's what these two connections are for. In the center is an audio input connector, so you can actually inject audio into the media stream. If you'd like to do that, you can connect right there. To the right of that is a block of connections where you can connect up external relays and digital I/O, and these are fully explained in the manual. And finally, to the right of that are two 3.5mm ports labeled IR in and IR out, and this is where the infrared blasters connect. In the case of the transmitter, you'll want to connect the infrared blaster to the infrared out port because that'll broadcast the signals from that remote location. And that's pretty much it for the transmitter. The OREI ToVi X4 transmitter is compatible with most modern HDMI media sources, including streaming devices, computer systems, digital projectors, game consoles, and media players like Apple TV. The product's features include full support of 4K media content. It provides an audio extraction feature. It is both HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant. It offers 328 feet of either unicast or multicast extension between the primary and secondary locations and provides KVM compatibility, ARC compliance, and full PoE support. Now I'll show you just how easy it'll be to add an X4 transmitter to your ToVi system. And for this demonstration, over here I've set up a PoE switch and I have a mini PC connected to this monitor. And that's the media content I'd like to share with the network through this particular transmitter. Over here I've set up a receiver module connected to this monitor, and I've already connected that to the PoE switch. In front of me I have the transmitter module. Now the first connection I'll make is from the module directly to the network, and I'll need a LAN cable to do that. I have a short Cat7 cable right here. I'll plug one end of that into the back of the transmitter, and the other end of it into any open port on that PoE switch. And the minute I make that connection, the switch recognizes that I've connected a PoE device and it sends power across that LAN cable, and this transmitter starts that internal power on self-test where it's checking the electronics. It's also looking on the network for a companion receiver module that's operating on the same channel. So it's important at this point that you check the channel of the transmitter to make sure that it matches the channel of the receiver that you'd like to send that media content to. In this case, I've set them both to 18. So at this point, it's gone through its power on self-test and the link light is blinking because it's looking for that companion. It'll find that in a second over the network, and now I'm ready to connect my media content to the transmitter, and I'll do that by disconnecting it from the monitor and plugging it directly into the HDMI input port on the transmitter. This immediately checks the resolution of that input media content, makes any adjustments it needs to send it across the network, and there you go. So what you're viewing here is HDMI media content that's been converted into a network signal, sent across that network to the receiver, and then converted back into an HDMI signal for display in this monitor. And again, you can send the same content to multiple receivers at the same time as long as they're all on the same channel. Now there are two other features I'd like to show you. The first one is a local loopback functionality, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content here at the primary side while you're simultaneously sharing it with your remote locations. And to take advantage of that feature, you'll need an additional HDMI cable, which I have right here. And I'll plug that into the local monitor at that primary location. and the other end of it into the HDMI output port in the back of the transmitter. Now it'll take a second for the transmitter to recognize the fact that I've got a second monitor connected, and there you go. So now you're seeing the same content on both of these monitors locally and at the remote location. The final feature I'd like to show you is the KVM functionality, which allows you to connect the keyboard and mouse up at that remote location to remotely control a computer connected at the primary location. So I've got a wireless dongle plugged into the receiver module that's connected to this mouse, and you can see that it's not affecting the computer. I need to connect this to my mini PC using a USB cable through this port on the front. And the minute I make that connection, the computer recognizes the fact that I've got an external device connected, the KVM functionality is now active, and if I move the mouse, you can see that that cursor's moving on both of those monitors. So you're effectively remotely controlling a computer at the primary location up to 100 meters away through this network. And it really is just that easy to get it working. I hope you found this overview of the OREI ToVi X4 transmitter module helpful. This product makes it incredibly easy for you to share your media content with multiple remote locations as part of the ToVi system. The product fully supports 4K media content and is both HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, which means it's going to work great with all of your modern media equipment. It also provides local loopback functionality, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content here at the primary location while you're sharing it with your remote locations. It also offers audio extraction, which will digitally separate the audio component from the media that you're sending to those remote locations, and allows you to pass that along through an analog or digital connection to a soundbar, home stereo, or amplifier system for that full theater experience. This set also features KVM functionality, which allows you to connect a computer here and a mouse and keyboard at one of those remote locations to remotely control the computer. You'll find a set of infrared blasters included that provide complete remote control from that secondary location, and the product uses Power over Ethernet technology, which means when you plug this into a PoE-capable switch, you won't have to worry about the power supply. So everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections, you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks again for watching.